All right. Let's go ahead and dive in. So we'll go over open house rules and best practices. This is coming from C.A.R Legal. So they put out a revised C.A.R Legal Q&A just recently. I think they updated it finally. It's been in revision for a little while, but this is pertaining to basically, after the settlement and with all the rule changes with the BRBCs and all this stuff. So open houses, we still get a lot of questions on those, and that's why I like to base our meetings off of just, incoming questions we received during the week and things like that. So yeah, we'll do open house rules and best practices per C.A.R Legal. Then we'll look at referrals and the RAD form. Um, Looks like some people are still kind of struggling with what to do with that RAD form that is attached to the referral agreement now. So we're going to go over essentially, what is a referral, the referral agreement, and then the RAD form. So, all right, we'll go ahead and start off with the open house. So, can a listing agent hold open house after the implementation of the settlement? Yes, we can still do open houses. Nothing is um, prohibiting us from doing open houses on our own listings. I saw some weird, someone shared a Instagram story with me about marketing yourselves and things like that. It seems like it was kind of pertaining to open houses a little bit. Yes, if you're the listing agent, you could definitely do open houses. You can have other agents host your open houses as well. Um, uh, Carlegal is saying if they are with your current brokerage. So we'll get into that a little further. Is an agent holding open house required to have every visitor who enters the open house sign either a sign-in sheet and a non-agency agreement or a buyer representation agreement? So whether any of these documents are required depends on the interaction of the agent and the visitor. But ideally, a listing agent will have one of these types of forms signed for the purpose of clarifying relationship. The open house sign-in sheet is recommended. It's good to know who's coming through your open houses, and obviously for lead gen and things like that. Do you have to have a buyer rep agreement signed by everybody coming through the open house? You absolutely do not, because you are working on behalf of the seller at that time. Now, if they start talking about, we want to make an offer, start discussing terms with you, things like that, they're not working with another realtor, then that is when you introduce the BRBC, the buyer rep form. So, what forms can be used for the purpose of clarifying relationship? So, there are 4 forms that can be used. That's the open house visitor non-agency disclosure and sign in. So that's the Ohana SI. I do see some of you using that. The buyer non-agency agreement. Um, that's Form BNA. The buyer representation and compensation agreement, the BRBC, which most of us are familiar with, and the property showing representation agreement, the PSRA, which is similar to the BRBC, but it's property specific. Um, should all visitors to the property sign the Ohana SI? This is the best practice according to C.A.R Legal. Ask all adult visitors to sign in. By doing so, the visitor will be acknowledging that the agent at the open house is acting on behalf of the seller and not representing the buyer. The visitor can also use the Ohana SI to identify if they're working with another agent. Now, some agents are using that um, to help that conversation along when they have the open house guests at the house. So if you haven't looked at that form lately and you are doing open houses, you might want to check it out, see if that's something you want to implement to help conversations and also disclose who's working for who as these visitors come through the open house. What if a listing agent finds out that the visitor who is not already in exclusive agency would like to create a working relationship with the agent? So in that case, The agent may want to ask the visitor to sign in either a limited or full buyer representation agreement. For limited representation, the PSRA can be used at open houses, but it is not limited to open house properties. So for full buyer representation, the buyer representation and compensation agreement, the BRBC, may be used. So yes, once they start moving forward with you, that's when you need to put in place PSRA or the BRBC. Is a separate Ohana SI form required for each buyer? No, more than one buyer can sign one form. The Ohana SI has 7 signature blocks, so you don't have to have one to every single visitor that comes through the open house. That would be pretty monotonous. What if the visitor refuses to sign anything, but instead only wants to look at the property? I have my opinions on this. This is what C.A.R Legal states. Whether a prospective buyer signs Ohana SI or not, they are welcome to come into the open house and view the property. Signing the Ohana SI is not a condition of entering the open house. However, in that circumstance, it is advisable for the open house agent to be guarded in their discussions. You do not want to create an implied agency. Merely talking to the buyer while making it clear that you are representing the seller exclusively likely does not constitute working with the buyer, which will require a written buyer agreement at that point. But since there's no clear point in which talking to a visitor becomes working with them, caution would be prudent. A more conservative approach is for the listing agent to provide no information to the visitor beyond what is on the listing agent's information sheet unless and until the Ohana SI or BNA, the buyer non-agency, is signed. Now, why I say in my opinion is because this addresses agency and, you know, that aspect of it. Um, this does not really address, the safety part of it, which in my opinion, if you're discussing with the seller, hey, I am going to require everybody to sign in. Here's why. We have seen things happen to real estate agents. Can someone put down a fake name and address? Yes, they can. But I do believe that having everybody sign into your open house creates a little bit of accountability with the visitors of the open house. So I personally think that having everybody sign in, as a condition per the seller, after having that conversation with your seller during your listing agreement, is a good practice just for risk management and safety precautions. If another agent within the listing office is at the open house, should they also ask the buyer to sign in using Ohana SI? Yes. This applies to every agent within the listing office, since every agent within the brokerage at the open house would be attempting to find a buyer for that property. Referral fees can occur as part of real estate practice, but they are not always disclosed as they should be, except for now we have the RAD form. To reinforce transparency and trust, C.A.R updated standard forms to strengthen disclosure of referral fee arrangements, which we will go into here in just a minute. So do's and don'ts in the wake of AB 2992 and NAR settlement, which talk about, well, those are the laws for putting these compensation agreements in place prior to showing a property. So proper open house protocols in the wake of NAR settlement and Assembly Bill 2992. What are you allowed and not allowed to do when hosting an open house per C.A.R legal? So the question is, can I host an open house for a broker that is not my own? The do's are do host open house on a property that is listed by either your own seller client or two, your brokerage's seller client. For example, if it is your listing, you can certainly host an open house. If the property is listed by a colleague in your brokerage, you can also do so. Don'ts. Best practice is not to host an open house on a property listed by a brokerage other than your own. Example, if you work for ABC Realty, don't host an open house on a property listed by XYZ Realty. Why? Legal and regulatory issues exist concerning seller-informed consent, liability, and insurance coverage, among others. So you can see they are starting to move towards possibly outlawing us from hosting open houses for other brokers. It is, they say best practice here. They're not saying, that it's illegal or anything, but it comes with risks and also consent from the owner of the home as well, which, typically I don't see that getting asked for quite often. So, do all open house visitors need to sign a form before they preview the property? We just went over this. They're saying don't tell visitors they can't preview the featured property unless they first sign a buyer representation agreement. Yes, they don't have to sign that. Don't tell visitors they can't preview future property unless they first hire you as their agent. Don't say that either. Don't pressure visitors to sign a buyer representation agreement. Don't require buyers who are represented by agents to provide copies of their buyer representation agreements to you. So again, this is car legal on the do's and don'ts. If the visitors are already represented by an agent, should I still ask them to sign in on the Ohana SI form? And they're saying, yes, do ask all visitors to sign that form because it does ask if they're working with an agent. So that's why I say that form is good for opening up the conversation to know, I guess how much energy you should put into trying to convert this visitor into, a client for yourself. Don't use open houses to target visitors as prospective clients who are already in exclusive agency relationships with their agents. Next question, can I give property tours to open house visitors who are not my clients? And that is a yes, you can have these people come through. The don't is don't give open house tours to visitors who refuse. Fill in the Ohana SI. Do let them tour the property on their own. Do prepare to answer their questions about matters addressed in the open house flyer or handout. So they're saying, don't go beyond what you have on your flyer, essentially, which is usually just the home information that is plastered everywhere online. Can I market my services to open house visitors? Yes, do prioritize marketing the listed property. You can also provide general information about your services to visitors who aren't exclusively represented by another agent. Don't prioritize targeting new prospective clients during an open house. We all know the open house was, originally designed to generate more buyer leads for yourself, but don't make that the sole target. If you do want to get that home sold, opening up conversations, or having a conversation, asking people motivation, are they working with another agent? That is all acceptable. But definitely do try and, sell the home that you are holding open, as that is, your job as a listing agent or as the agent hosting the home on behalf of the listing agent and of the seller. So, I mean, obviously the seller is wanting this home to be sold and not, just used for marketing purposes to promote the agent only. All right, so do we have any? No questions in there. So we'll move on to referral fee disclosure and the newest version of the forms RFA and RAD. RFA is the referral form that you use when you're referring out or accepting a referral for a client. So what is a referral fee? Legally paid referral fees involve real estate professionals, typically involving receipt of compensation in exchange for referring a principal for representation in the purchase or sale of property, property management, and other licensed activity. Since agents are not permitted to receive compensation except through their broker, The best practice is that all referral fees paid through the brokerage. And from what I can see, everybody here is good at getting these signed, turning them in, having the check come to the office, and then we pay you accordingly. Is disclosing the receipt of referral fees legally required? And the answer is yes. An agent must disclose all things of value received. So if you remember way back during licensing, when you're getting your license, they talked about receiving things of value, which is not necessarily just money. The fiduciary obligation of full disclosure prohibits an agent's receipt of secret profits. An agent has a fiduciary duty not to acquire any material benefit from a third party in connection with the transaction or the agency relationship unless with the informed written consent of the agreement of the principal. Additionally, the DRE requires all licensees to disclose a receipt of referral fees to their clients whenever these fees relate to the client's transaction. So this is a hot topic for them right now. So especially after rolling out and revising the new RAD form, which was in the December rollout of new forms. It might have been actually previous Junes. I can't remember, but the most recent version is when they really started saying, "Hey, we need to do a better job as an industry in disclosing uh, referral fees and things like that to the clients." Are there other reasons realtors should disclose referral fees? So Article 2 of the Code of Ethics requires realtors to avoid concealment of pertinent facts. And the motivation behind the existence of a referral fee may be material to the principal. Principal may want to know if the realtor representing them has an obligation to pay a referral fee, which may impact the negotiation of the compensation amount or flexibility to adjust to expenses in a particular transaction. Additionally, in light of recent lawsuits and legal activity, the real estate industry remains under scrutiny, and we have and even more transparency. So, for these reasons, we advise that brokers should disclose payment of referral fees to other brokers, even if the law doesn't specifically require it. So basically, this is C.A.R. Trying to get out in front of maybe potential other lawsuits and things like that. So, and that's why there's been this push for disclosing to the clients payments of referral fees either in or out. Do realtors need to disclose the receipt of referral fees even if they don't affect the client's cost? Yes, disclosure is still required even when a referral fee does not change the principal's cost or compensation structure. It is immaterial whether the transaction is otherwise fair to the principal or the principal receives exactly the price wanted for the property or pays no more than for it than intended. Do I disclose the amount of referral fee received? And that's a yes. You should disclose the amount of the fee if known, or the way it will be calculated. Is it based off of a percentage of the sales price? Is it going to be a flat fee? What is it? So, because you may not know right now exactly the amount, but you can disclose how it's going to be calculated, and all that is on that RAD form. So California law prohibits taking or claiming a secret or undisclosed amount of compensation, commission, or profit. If the exact amount is not yet determined, disclose that a referral fee will be paid and provide the details as soon as they are finalized. How should referral fees between agents working in the same broker be treated? Payments to different agents under the same broker are not treated as referral fees, but rather distribution of compensation by the broker. Payments are categorized as referral fees for legal purposes when they are paid between two separate brokers involved in referral arrangement. So for this scenario, if you're referring something, a client to someone else within the brokerage, you actually don't have to do the referral fee because you're operating under the same broker. what you would use is Form ACS, which is the Agent Commission Sharing Agreement. So that is the more proper form to use because essentially you are sharing in commission with the brokerage. So the referral agreement, RFA, is used between outside agents if you're referring out to an outside agent. Can licensees accept or pay referral fees from or to settlement service providers other than other real estate brokers? Sorry, other than other real estate brokers. No, California law prohibits the receipt of referral fees in any transaction where payment is received by any escrow agent, structural pest control firm, home protection company, title insurer, controlled escrow company, or underwritten title company. Additionally, under the RESPA Act, real estate professionals may not accept or pay referral fees, kickbacks, or anything of value from or to settlement service providers, including lenders, title companies, escrow companies, home inspectors, and other providers involved in closing services. RESPA is generally applicable when the sale involves residential property of 1 to 4 units to be occupied by the borrower when the property is secured by a federally related loan. And there are some exceptions to RESPA as well. We've covered those in previous meetings. Who can receive a referral fee under the federal RESPA law? Under this law, real estate professionals may refer principals and receive a referral fee from another broker. It is an explicit exception to the general prohibition against referral fees as long as they are not acting in the capacity of a mortgage broker. So mortgage brokers, this does not apply. This is for resident real estate agents. However, it is illegal under RESPA to pay non-licensees a referral fee. So I get questions every now and then. Hey, this person wants to, do my marketing for me. And in exchange, they want 20% of every deal I close from their marketing. So, and this marketer is not a licensed person. So that would be in violation of the RESPA Act because they are a non-licensee. And additionally, it's conditioned upon closing their payment, closing a deal. Now, if you were just paying this marketer, whatever, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, and it was not conditioned upon you closing, any real estate transactions, and that is okay. That's not a referral fee or a kickback or anything else. That is you paying for marketing services, but you can't do it based on, you earning compensation, and then that's when they get paid. So that's when you get into the RESPA issue. What about non-RESPA transactions? For non-RESPA transactions, such as commercial transactions, it is legal to pay a referral fee to a finder, in quotes, but a finder is one who does not engage in any licensed activity. Their role is limited to introductions, and they can have no part in any negotiation or solicitation. Any activity by the finder beyond mere introduction, however, slight, results in the finder being classified as an agent. Paying a referral fee in this context would mean paying a non-licensee for licensed activity, which is a significant violation of the real estate law. Is there a difference between a referral fee and a lead? So now we're, talking about, potentially, Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that, where you are paying a fee to them for leads that they are providing. So, the pay at close leads, things like that. So yes, a referral involves a licensed real estate professional directing a principal to another licensed professional in exchange for a referral fee paid between brokers. Certainly, generation services are different. Some services generate a list of potential sellers or buyers through marketing or other means, and they will provide a list with contact information for potential clients. They then sell this list for licensees to try and solicit, and the payment is not generally classified as a referral fee. To make sure that you are purchasing a lead list and not paying an improper referral fee to an unlicensed person, payment must not be in any manner tied to or dependent upon a closing, nor should the payment be dependent upon endorsement of the referred agent. So again, if you are paying someone for marketing or for leads and you're paying them up front, regardless of if those leads close, then that is okay. That is not considered a referral, and it's not going to be a RESPA violation if you're paying upfront for it and it's not conditioned upon you closing any of those leads. Oop. Using C.A.R's realtor acknowledgement and disclosure. So this is the RAD form. We'll cover this real quick. Why is C.A.R emphasizing referral fee transparency? So C.A.R has long supported compensation transparency. The updated RAD form provides realtors with a standardized, easy to use method for disclosing referral fees so clients clearly understand how their real estate professional is compensated. Revised RAD form will direct the agent to disclose compensation from multiple sources, their present and potential ownership interest in the property that is the subject of the transaction, and referral or other fees received or paid. So when should you present this RAD form to your client that you referred another licensee? Present the form as soon as you know a referral fee will be paid or at the first appropriate point in your working relationship. Ideally, this occurs when signing representation agreements or when referring the principal to another licensee. Other than the RAD form, will there be anywhere else to disclose a referral fee? Yes, while the RAD form is a primary tool for referral fee disclosure, it does not replace other required documents such as the buyer rep agreement and the California residential listing agreement. Because these forms were already undergoing updates, C.A.R is also adding a checkbox into BRBC and RLA, which you will notice that implemented asking if there is a referral fee being paid. And then if you check that box yes in your BRBC or in your listing agreement, it's going to attach this RAD form, and then you fill out the RAD form, which is disclosing to the client how you're being compensated from other sources. What if the referral fee is negotiated after the transaction begins? Disclose it immediately. The RAD form can be presented at any point, but earlier is always better to clarify and trust. So, if, I don't know, the transaction's not going well, or you have to go out of town or something like that, and you're going to hand over the client, then you would also, on a referral, then you would want to have the RAD form completed at that point and disclosed to the principals. What if I receive a referral from an out-of-state agent? So it's good practice still disclose that you are paying a referral fee. This may be a pertinent fact to many clients. Referral fees paid across state lines are common, and the RAD form helps ensure transparency regardless of where the referring agent is licensed. I have not seen a form like this come from an out-of-state agent. Not sure if they're going to get one, but you're licensed here in California, and this is, the expectations of, C.A.R and of California, that these referral fees are being disclosed. So even if it's not required necessarily in another state, you should still do it because it's your license here that you are protecting. What happens if referral fees aren't disclosed? Failing to disclose receipt of referral fee could expose a realtor to the following: legal liability, DRE discipline, arbitration or disciplinary complaints, and or loss of client trust. So best practices for explaining referral fees to clients. How should I discuss referral fees? For example, so use simple and direct language. You know, don't don't act shady or cagey with, disclosing compensation. We are in this business to earn compensation for our services. Um, we carry a license to be able to accept things such as referral fees and to earn compensation on transactions. So there's no reason to be shy about this. This is why we have this license. It's how we earn a living. So an example could be, I'm going to refer you to broker X. If you decide to work with the broker or one of their agents, they'll pay me a referral fee. A referral agent will receive a fee from my broker for introducing us, and I'm disclosing it to you, so you have a complete picture of how everyone is compensated. This fee is between brokers, does not change your costs or how I represent you, or referral fees are common in industry practice, and I'm sharing this to ensure full transparency in your transaction. So you can use it to build trust, especially when you're using words like transparency and things like that. It does help strengthen your relationship with your clients. Everybody wants to work with somebody who is transparent. So what if my client has concerns about the referral fee? Reassure them that referral fees do not impact your duty to act in their best interest. The fee typically does not increase their transaction cost beyond the amount in the listing or representation agreement. The purpose of the disclosure is to support transparency, not change the transaction terms, ensuring the client has complete and accurate understanding of how their realtor is compensated. So here we have the RAD form. Um, so really, there's not much to fill out in this. It's not, this is just a little one pager. It's attached to the referral agreement, or again, it could be added to your buyer rep agreement or your listing agreement. Um, so basically 1B is I am a realtor, and this is the local association of realtors, or I am not a realtor. You're going to check that box if you're not. Um, let's see, in number 3, compensation for multiple sources. So here you're going to check whichever box applies. Housing provider, landlord, tenant, broker. If so, insert name. Um, present or potential ownership interest. So if you are a principal, if you own the property, this needs to be disclosed. This form can also be used for that. And then C, referral or other fee received from or paid to another broker. It says obtain signatures from agent's client or principal referred. And then you have 1, 2, and 3. So that'll be check the box if you're receiving compensation. My broker is being paid by, who are you being paid by? Just name the other broker if that's where it's coming from. Or number 2, paying compensation. My broker is paying compensation to, and again, you're going to put the other broker's name in there. Or 3, compensation, or not or 3, but and 3, compensation amount is this flat fee or a percentage. You could just put, 25% or whatever of gross compensation earned by the broker representing the client in the resulting transaction. So more than likely, when you're filling this form out, you're going to be just doing 1B, you're a realtor or not a realtor, and you're probably going to skip down to 3C and just type in the other broker if you're receiving or paying, and then what the percentage is or the flat fee amount. So that's really all you got to do. The broker signs. So again, usually this is attached to the referral form. So I would just be signing both of these. Um, and then the seller, housing provider, or the buyer, whichever, is going to also be signing this as well. The RFA form, so this didn't change much, but they did change on the most recent revision, which was 625. So yeah, that was a year ago. Um, referring broker pertains to the broker sending out the referral. The representing broker, and then that's the word that they changed there, is the receiving end. So the broker receiving the referral. So if you are sending a referral out to somebody, then you are going to be the referring agent, and the other agent is going to be the representing agent, and their information goes there. You're going to put in your referral fee amount, whatever it's going to be. I see 25 to 35% quite often. It completely negotiable. It could be whatever you want, whatever you can agree with the other agent. Of the gross compensation earned by a representing broker, such compensation will be owed if principal enters or has already entered into contract for a buy, sell, or lease or other properties or transactions covered. Compensation is payable for the transaction specified in 1B, only for the first property transaction specified in 1B, or you can check B for the properties, following properties only, and then you would put in the properties, or C for any and all properties transacted during the term of this agreement. So you can choose, how your referral is going to work. Is it just for this one-time purchase from this client, or is it from any purchase or sale from this client for the next year? So this is a 12-month agreement. You can change it, yes, but by default it is for 12 months. So that is how long it is enforceable for. And again, on this one, referring broker is going to sign, representing broker is going to sign, and that's it on it. So really, these two forms are pretty simple, but I think the bigger thing that I've seen is the reluctancy to, disclose to the client, or just not even really thinking about that's something that you need to do. Because I know this is a newer conversation coming into the industry right now, uh, predominantly in California. But it's not that big of a deal. We are professionals. We get paid for our services, just like other licensed professionals do. And these are some of the ways that we get compensated. So it shouldn't be a problem with the client. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. So they can't necessarily stop it from happening. It's going to happen. So this is just a disclosure that it is happening, essentially. So that's all I got for today. It's good to review these things. I try and review a lot of our stuff at least like once a year. We do have a new forms rollout this month. I believe it's on the 15th. Um, the reason why I do not do the meetings prior to the form rollout, as far as going over new and revised forms, is because sometimes they change last minute. And then I will have told you something that didn't come about. So in the next week or two, we'll be going over the new forms, new and revised forms rollout, which again I think is on the 15th of this month. So depending on, I don't have my calendar in front of me, but we'll probably do it the following Monday, that form rollout comes out, so we can review all the new forms. And I don't think there's a lot actually on this one. But they do revise quite a few of them as well. This batch looks, from what I can see, a little smaller than the beginning of the year one, which had a lot of revisions. So other than that, hopefully you learned something today. And if you have any questions, you can always give us a call. And hope everybody has a great week ahead. And we'll see you next Monday.